It is June 26th, 2018 is 6:01. We're here for the Board of Health meeting. We have the full complement of members here, Kathleen Walker, Matt Gagner, myself. Gary Magnuson is here from CMG, Jim Philbrook, and several people in the audience. So the agenda is out there. It is out there posted. I'm sorry, I won't be a copy of it, but I couldn't see it. Yeah. So anyway, Andrea was able to.
You're right. And nowadays, if you don't post things properly and they're not there, then you don't want something filed against the board that you're properly posted. But we looked into it. It was posted, and we had to press F5 to delete the cookies, and it pops up.
So that's what I have to do. Evidently, hopefully that works at my work, and at least I'll know.
Not on the
that.
Mac. She's gonna personally.
I'm researching.
And what?
I
Yeah.
haven't figured it out yet.
I'll have you look into it.
Yeah.
She's pretty-
Wow.
But anyway, it was properly posted a couple weeks ago. It just didn't show up. You had to press, I don't know how she figured that out, but she's the one that figured it out, not me. And you had to press Shift F5. And then the new one popped up.
At work, and all of a sudden, and I was staring at it, and it wasn't showing, press Shift F5, up it comes. Okay, that's good, great, that's good.
So even if the audience is watching, if they're trying to get it, maybe they can, if they can't see it, Shift F5 and
Boom.
there it is. So,
Good, so we're covered for that. For the agenda, we can start off with the landfill. I know that there's a number of updates, and Jim, you've been sending me stuff
Yes.
pretty religiously, thank you. I was trying to find it on my email, and I had one project after another, and I didn't, so if we missed something, please bring it up. But I'm sure Gary would like to speak about it.
Gary's got a lot of stuff to bring up
Yeah.
to the board that we have to take care of, so.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that.
All right, just a little general background. A month ago, we had a site inspection with DEP on the ongoing audit. Captain, for your background here, the landfill at 54 Flint Road, which is the older landfill, the uncapped. We're not allowed to use that name anymore.
Yeah.
So it's the uncapped landfill and the capped landfill, that's 54. That has been in DEP audits.
54 is uncapped.
Yes. So that's been in
54 equals uncapped
Yeah.
equals.
90 equals capped equals new. So 90 is the new landfill, the capped one.
90 capped, new. Okay.
So the old landfill, the 54, has been in audit since 2010, since a comprehensive site assessment was submitted. DEP put that kind of on the side burner. They've been talking to us over the past 2 years since we've been doing some testing there, and some contaminants there. They are working with us, they want to work with the town to close out that audit and ultimately get that landfill addressed, capped, whatever, addressed. They have not mandated what needs to be done yet, but they've said the first step is this comprehensive site assessment, and then it's an evaluation of alternatives, and then it's a design of the alternative, and then it's implement the alternative. And you guys are still at the comprehensive site assessment phase, way back, early stages.
Yep.
So that was submitted back in 2010, said no major issues, and it just kind of stopped there. We've done some testing, found some minor issues there, and DEP wants that audit closed out. So that's kind of background. We met with Jim McQuaid, the section chief of the solid waste. We met with Greg Root, who is one of the technical people. Greg has been in contact with me on and off in the past year and a half, kind of through the board, through me, asking technical questions. He's been reviewing documents. We've been sharing information back and forth. So they are asking that the board move forward and do something. Greg has been cognizant that he can't just come to me and say, Gary, do that. He's been keeping the board in the loop. He wanted, even in regards to setting up the meeting, he didn't want to set it up with me, he wanted to set it up through the Board of Health. So Jim set it up, and he said he can communicate. So we had a meeting, we walked the site. The intent would be to find the productive use of that landfill parking lot, something that the town could use it for, storage area, something. associated with the cap, where that landfill is essentially flat, whereas the other one is a mountain. So, haven't done any design or any thoughts yet, but that's kind of generally where that's at. It was a very good meeting. They just said, keep collecting the groundwater data you're collecting, do the things you're doing, but we need you to move forward on the audit. So,
Can I just interrupt? Is the groundwater moving? Is it liable to affect the houses nearby?
yeah, so the shallow groundwater has a very strong gradient away from, toward the west, so from Flint Road across the landfill and down toward Burlingame, down toward the wetland in the back. Very strong gradient. The bedrock, we don't really know where that's flowing. We have shallow bedrock wells, only 40 feet deep, or 50 feet deep at that landfill. So we've tested that landfill for this board. We just did the third test of that landfill today. We've done it 3 times now. The first 2 sets of data, it's the fourth time. Not very bad at all. For a landfill, there's not very much there. The issue is we found 1,4-dioxin in 1 monitoring well within 500 feet of a house, which triggered DEP notification, which took us out of the solid waste program, put us into the 21E program. We've dealt with that. The board has dealt with that. That is, I'm working on both of those things concurrently. Robin Craver's kind of handling the MCP end of it through the Board of Selectmen, whereas this board is handling the solid waste aspect of it. So we found some 1,4-dioxin in a well. Sampled drinking water wells within 500 feet, found it in 1 well. Sampled all the other wells within 500 feet, did not find 1,4-dioxin. Did find TCE in 1 well. There was TCE at the landfill back in 2009. We've never detected it since then, and we sampled it again in 2010, or 8 or 10, and then we sampled 3 times, haven't found it yet. So the house TCE has a treatment system on it, only 1,4-dioxin below the standard, but excellent. Has drinking water, bottled water provided. That was about 1.5 years ago now. The last 5 quarters, no 1,4-dioxin and no TCE in either of those wells. And the other wells that we're testing out of Flint Road, no contaminants. So we've got 5 quarters of clean data.
So those houses were just on Flint Road.
Just not, there are no houses on Burlingame that are within 500 feet of any known contaminants, areas of contamination. So, with that said, I have 2 proposals, one for the first 2 quarters of 2018 for 90 Flint Road, the new landfill. One for the first 2 quarters of 2018 for 54 Flint Road, the old landfill, and then I have a proposal to talk about the audit. So I don't know if you guys have copies, but it's the exact same price as it was last year. The reason you're seeing a proposal now for work for quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2018 is you guys didn't have funds allocated,
Which we do now.
which you
Right.
do.
Thank you.
The first quarter for both of these landfills only requires inspections and not significant laboratory costs. I did that work without approvals because I knew you needed to do it, they had to be done. Here are the proposals for that work, it's the same price as last year. So, Q1 and Q2, 2018 for 90 Flint Road is a lump sum cost of $9,898. And that's the same as last year.
So we
You
need
sent us
to,
that, right?
Yes,
You
I
sent
did.
us, yeah.
so we need to approve this in order for that, it's really a past due bill. if you
There's
will.
no billing, we haven't billed against that. What happened is the major component of that is the groundwater testing. It actually happened last week and this week. So that work was, that's where the majority of that is, more than half of that is lab costs.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept CMG's proposal in the amount of $9,898 for the landfill monitoring for Q1 and Q2, 2018.
Second that, I read that, Jim sent it to us.
Okay. No other discussion?
I recommend it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? That's good?
I've seen this as well, so I don't want you to think I'm just,
No, he's seen it.
it's been emailed.
I
Just
sent
that-
these out last week.
We
Yeah.
just don't want to be in violation of the DEP,
No, we
we're
do
subjected to fines.
It has to be done.
Has to.
So-
It's not a may, a shall.
Yes.
The second proposal is for 54 Flint Road landfill, the old uncapped landfill. Again, same time period, Q1, Q2, 2018. This one is for $8,365. Again, same price as last time, no change, same scope.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept proposal from CMG Environmental for 54 Flint Road landfill for Q1 and Q2 2018 in the amount of $8,365.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? Jim?
So the third document I have is dated January 30th, 2018. I prepared a proposal back then. I did send it to Jim. It wasn't acted upon because there was funding concerns at that point. And this proposal relates to 54 Flint Road, the old landfill, and DEP's audit. DEP is asking for different things. At that point, they wanted an update to the CSA comprehensive site assessment. I've since talked to them and I won't say talk to them now, but we don't need to update it, we just need to amend it. So we can do hopefully a little less work. However, when they walked to the landfill, they were concerned that this comprehensive site assessment that was done does not clearly define the edge of landfill debris on the eastern side of the landfill. So their concern is there were test pits done along Flint Road. On the western side, so the landfill side of Flint Road, there were test pits and there was landfill debris found. So they're worried that landfill debris could be on the east side of Flint Road. Not very likely because the houses have come straight down and there's a little swale and then it's the road. However, they're asking that data be collected. That wasn't done back in 2008 or 9 because there's a fiber optic cable or there's a cable there and they couldn't do test pits over there. So they said, well, there's other technologies you can do, called air knife, where you backdoor a hole in the ground. DEP is asking that we do a couple holes on that side of the road to make sure that, so that we can define the edge of the landfill
Across the street?
across the street. So it'd be, if you're driving down Flint Road, the landfill's on your right, this will be on the left.
Yes.
So, Gary, just curious, but wouldn't that be like a call dig safe, let them identify the underground utilities and then come in with a drill or whatever you do?
Exactly, yeah. There is it's simple, dig safe notification, but my understanding, I have not researched this at all. Greg Root actually called me today, and I said, good timing, I'm going to meet with the board tonight. The 2010 report says that there's a cable there and they couldn't do test pits. Well, yeah, there's probably not enough room to do test pits, but you could probably drill or do something else. DEP's only asking that we get down 4 or 5 feet. I would not expect there to be landfill debris on that side of the road. Flint Road's been there a long time.
Yeah. So is this a hand job, or are we talking heavy equipment with a mini excavator, or what would be the strategy to do that
Probably
test pit?
like he said, they have technology called air knife, where you go in with an air compressor and a vector, and you basically vacuum a hole and take an air compressor, and the air compressor has a solid rod at the end with a very sharp hole in the end, and then it just blows 100 psi of air, and just blows the stuff out of the way, so if you hit something, it doesn't damage it. So they do at gas stations before they drill at a gas station. That's technology. I can look into it. I don't have an exact cost for that here because I don't know what it is. On this proposal, I said I think you should budget about $5,000 to deal with DEP's concerns initially for this comprehensive site assessment, and I said you should budget another $10,000 for the next phase, the CAA. But at this point, I just wanted to talk to you about it. I think we do need to, at a minimum, update the comprehensive site assessment, which I can do with the data we have, but we are going to need to get something on that side of the road. Obviously, we'll look at the most cost-effective approach and figure it out. If we do dig safe and there's really nothing there and there's room for a test pit, maybe the town can bring it back around and do a test pit. Or someone. Yeah, if not, we could drill, or we could do the air knife option. Even the air knifing option, that's probably $2,500 for a day's worth of work. So it's not catastrophic. We could get that for reasonable.
Seems pricey.
It is pricey, but I mean, it's not $10,000.
How about a vac truck?
Yeah, that's what, just a straight up vac truck should
Yeah.
work. A vac truck and a guy with a bar.
Yeah.
When we want the site, there is trash to the road.
Oh, well, in the test pits clearly show trash comes right to the road, so they're gonna be concerned
On the west side.
on the west side, yeah.
Yeah.
So they,
How far on the road it is.
yeah, and I asked about that, I said, are you gonna want us to evaluate underneath the road? And he said, no, as long as we know that it's not on the other side of the road.
Because it's covered.
And I think they're looking at a plan view of this, and they're looking down from the top. Well, if you drive by there, there's no way it's on the other side of the road. Like I said, it's a mountain that drops straight down.
Regardless, I'm not one to get into it with the state.
We need to
so-
answer the question.
We need to answer the
So
question.
I don't know, I will look at some cost-effective options to answer that question, but
4 or 5 feet, I mean,
you can almost do it by hand.
or more, well,
Not to me anymore. A few years ago, I do it by hand.
dug a lot of sonotubes.
He would do it.
Yeah. So, not on Flint Road either, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, you go down, you hit rock, then you know that
You,
you're
exactly.
there.
Exactly. So, I don't know how you guys handle this, but I had said, provide an update to the comprehensive site assessment. DEP could even, if they do require us to submit new forms, just the submittal fee is $5,645. DEP says that's, my understanding is that's not gonna be required. We're gonna be able to use, there's an existing permit application that we're just amending to it. So, what I'd like you guys to do is approve a budget of $5,000 for us to update that comprehensive site assessment. And I think within that, I can probably potentially deal with getting this date on the other side of the road. I'm not sure. Updating the report is probably a couple $1,000.
What's the time frame to have the CSA done and submitted? Did they give you one?
No, they're being very polite with you.
But regardless, I mean,
We need to
I
do
certainly
it.
don't wanna,
It needs to be done.
I don't wanna.
It needs to be done.
Forthwith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
That means you better get on it.
Get moving. I mean, we just collected some new data, we obviously want to incorporate that new data into the report. I mean, I think we should have something to them by September 1st.
Regardless, it's a do it now or do it later
You
scenario.
have to
Yeah,
get, you gotta get
yeah,
this little bit of information.
There's no dodging it. We've known this has been coming for 8 years.
Yeah.
The bigger issues, and the reason I'm generally pleased, is that they're not asking us to do test pits on the east side of the landfill down by the wetlands and everywhere else. They're gonna allow the topography to determine, that the old report, the topography shows. So if they had to do that, that would be a big deal. And in the next phase, depending on how good that topography is, that whole landfill may need to be resurveyed and good topography, because if we go to design anything for it, we have to have really good topography, and that's not gonna be cheap.
Good Chair?
Yes.
Gary, this first amount of $5,000, what would that what would that allow you to do?
That is designed to do the comprehensive site assessment addendum. And I think if we can get some reasonable price, I think we can get those test pits done.
Okay.
I can't guarantee on that, because I just don't know what we're gonna find.
Would there be a budget on that, like if we can get them done for 1,000, because you said
Yeah.
2,500, I think we can do better than that.
I would
Well,
too.
how many are there?
Well, he started talking about, 5 to 6. I think we need a minimum of 4.
Yeah.
It's about, 700 feet along the road there. We need to get 3 or 4 spots at least. I think we can do it for less as well.
Okay,
But I had originally budgeted 5,000 just to update the comprehensive site
Right.
assessment. I got them down to not a full update, just an addendum.
Mhm.
I probably need $2,000 to $3,000 just to do that.
okay.
So there might be about 2,000 to 3,000 left.
Mhm.
What I'd like to do, if you guys approve that budget, I'll look at some options, and I'll go through Mr. Philbrook and say, look, we've got something figured out for $1,000, we should be okay, or no, you're gonna have to go with another option. And I'll shoot you guys an email with an update on that. Obviously, I won't exceed that, any of those funds, but
Yeah.
we'll get the ball rolling to figure out what we can do.
I agree. I'm in agreement with that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So I make a motion that we approve $5,000 for Gary to go ahead with the comprehensive site assessment addendum.
I second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gary, you're on a roll, keep it going.
I
Yeah.
don't have any more proposals.
I thought you
but
needed 10,000
We do
for
have
something
one on
else.
the-
Yeah, well, I do have, and I don't think we should even talk about it now because,
Okay.
well, this, please be advised that a budget for the, let's see, how did I write this for you guys? I want to make sure what I said. So, the corrective actions alternatives analysis, which is what you're actually gonna do. DEP is asking for that, and it should go in right after the addendum. I said you should budget 10 grand for that. You wanna deal with that at another meeting, fine. It's on this proposal. If you wanna deal with it in this one, let's do it in this one. I said, I wrote this proposal back in January, and my comment was the comprehensive site assessment would be something we could do in FY19, which starts July, next week. So, yeah, you should approve it, or you should be thinking about it. I am not doing anything on that right now. And I can hold off on that until after the comprehensive site assessment is submitted, but if we can kind of keep the momentum going, it might make more sense. The alternatives analysis is looking at it and figuring out, it's not designing it.
There's some options, we know.
There are some options, not designing it, but it's talking to you guys, talking to the town, looking at the logistics and saying, we can do this, this, and this, we can't do this, this, or this.
Mr. Chairman, we're only having one meeting a month, and summer, maybe we should.
I'm in agreement, at least in principle, to earmark the funds maybe for the, again, this is something that's gonna have to take place sooner rather than later.
Those, is that fund, Gary, does that have any contingency on what we find on the other side of the street?
It does, but I am 99% sure we're not finding anything on the other side of the street.
Okay, I agree, yeah.
You know
If
what,
we
Matt,
do,
you know what,
does it,
It
does
really
it,
wouldn't change anything. I think what would happen is if we did find it on the other side of the street, the alternatives analysis would incorporate, not the design, but it would incorporate probably taking that stuff and putting it back into the landfill.
okay,
Normally what happens with the landfill is if you find stuff that, actually, you guys had the problem where it slid into the wetland
Mhm.
on the other landfill, you pull it back into the landfill. If it went over somebody's property boundary, they'll go back and take it and put it back into the landfill.
Yeah.
So if it's on the other side of the road, the approach would probably be to simply dig it out and put it back on the other side. But that would be dealt with in the construction aspect. In the alternatives analysis, we would just say, we'll deal with this, so it doesn't affect the pricing aspect of that ask.
Yes, Jim?
I think being with Gary and walking through with Robin and Greg Root, and there was a couple other gentlemen there, he said that they're really taking this approach because they've been concentrating on the landfill in Southbridge, and now they're concentrating on here. I think the sooner we get things done and not delay, they've been more than,
We don't wanna see this.
lenient, I wouldn't say lenient, but more than patient with what we've been giving them. But certainly the time has come. Like
Yes.
Matt said, it's been
Agreed.
8 years, right, Matt? Well,
Yeah.
well, time's up.
Jim, as far as funding goes for the landfill,
Yep.
are we in decent shape if we allocate another 10 grand, are we gonna
We
be?
did get allocation through capital of $110,000. That's only for fiscal year 2019.
All right. How much did we just chew through? Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, but we expected to. That's why we sat down and realized that this is what we're going to need. I did a comprehensive just kind of looking to see what we're gonna need and what I would ask for. I couldn't go into FinCom and say, well, that'd probably give me whatever.
Yeah.
We had to come in with some kind of idea of a proposal. So I presented a proposal, and that's what we got. So that proposal, they know that we're gonna be spending that. It's going to be gone, and we're gonna be coming back for more. We have no choice in this case, but this is money, these are things that the DEP's mandating we do. These are minimum requirements. Things could change if something happens. Like if those holes come up and there's a problem, or if we do get testing and something happens, this is all pending that we don't have any other things happen.
So this last 5,000 that we just approved and this
Mhm.
10,000 that's on the
Yep.
table for discussion right now, was that in your proposal to FinCom?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with that.
We're good with it too. You wanna make a motion?
Motion.
We're putting you to work tonight.
Right. Okay, so we're approving about $10,000 for Gary Benson to perform a alternatives analysis?
Corrective action alternatives analysis.
Corrective action alternatives analysis.
Not to exceed.
AAA.
Not to exceed $10,000.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
Okay, thank you.
Mowing, we have to.
Yes,
I wanna
mowing.
talk,
That's
yeah,
it.
so mowing the 90, the landfill, the cap ones, we've talked about that, it should be mowed once a year. I've done a third-party inspection, given you guys copies of the notes and the inspection report. There are a few areas of the cap that are exposed, very small. The biggest area is half, quarter the size of this table. DEP did see that during their inspection. DEP commented on that. DEP said, fix that. I said, it's in the works. So, the landfill, you need to either get a bid out or get a contract out, have someone mow it again. Once a year is sufficient. DEP agrees with once a year. They thought the cap looked really good. But there is some maintenance, repair work that needs to be done. I don't think the maintenance work is significant. I can't put an exact budget on it, but I would imagine it's grand or two, worst case.
And we need to spell that out in the bid proposals, right?
Either spell it out in the bid proposal, or yeah, it could be discussed. You could give the bidder the third-party inspection, or actually the memo that I gave to the board. I gave a memo to the board with the photos. And then during the site walk, you can walk through and say, yes, there's about 7 areas that need to be repaired.
They're not huge, but they do have, he said fix them.
Through the chair.
Yes.
When you say need to be repaired, are they bare spots? What do you,
So on the, have you been to that landfill?
not recently?
Okay, so it's just a mountain, it's very steep, and it has what we call water bars. So it comes up and there's these big water bars that look like this. Well, they're very difficult to mow, they get scalped by the mowers.
Okay.
Or they just really, so right on the top of those, they've been scalped, and there's maybe 6 or 10 inches of sand and topsoil, and that just got worn down, you can see the cap.
Okay.
Now, that cap, as we talked about, the real cap runs on the landfill, and then there's probably another small piece in there, a patch. So the actual cap is probably underneath and not being altered or impacted, but it still needs to be updated.
We just have to bring it up because.
It's, I think a lot of it is just wear and tear.
See, this is the deal, I got 300 and, I don't know,
Topsoil and.
Topsoil, wheelbarrows and.
and.
Wheelbarrows, soil in and cover it, oh yeah, see
See
it.
the
Wash on it.
Need to put some-
Will it just happen again and again?
It will, if they're not cautious, they could throw, if they wanted to,
Just transfers.
maybe just as easy to put some,
This one
just
here,
throw sod down there, not that you want to take the sod, but that's not that expensive for the small areas. And then when the first rain event, it's not gonna wash out on the guys, so go back and fix it. Erosion fabric, erosion fabric,
That's the one
straws,
that's true.
all kinds of
You're gonna
products.
drink
If you're talking just,
So I think the
what,
way that
less
works
than
is board on
100
the
square
problem with it,
feet?
but I don't know if.
For all the,
Yes.
all the
It's
repairs.
told
Yeah.
me that all I need is
Take
a
that
letter
stuff
from
out.
you that says
You gotta have a
it's
pallet,
okay
to take it from each, you gotta have a pallet side.
and they'll be fine with it.
Top
And then
soil.
they'll still tie in for the.
Problem is, some of them are,
Yeah, I'll see.
you know, you drive, you
Yes.
drive to the top of the line, but if you drive
We
to the
have
side
probably
of
ought
it,
to hang out and.
well, you gotta go halfway up.
I didn't know that this was
It's a long way.
But it's either that or.
We can talk about that,
topsoil.
it's probably gonna be
Yeah.
done 20 minutes or so, half hour maybe.
We'll hire some strong
Thanks.
young
What's
guys
the order?
that can this summer.
But we do need to get moving on, at least going out to
Yes.
get some reputable
Right.
company.
So, we need 3 bids, right? We need 3?
I don't think it exceeds, I'm not sure about the, I don't have to bid last time, just to get an idea.
Hey, Gary,
Didn't we,
good yourself?
I think it was Scott Burlingame, no, Burlingame was doing it the last time, and then he did it again, he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, BCB Enterprise, BCB Landscape.
And he did a good job. I mean, he always, I checked on his work, he sent pictures, but I'm not sure where we're at now. I told him that, you know, you have to hold off, but to
Isn't
go out.
there a price where you don't need to?
You're right, I don't think we need to, but somehow we have to get some estimates at least. I think last time when he did it, Lonnie just called up 5 people and told them to mail in an estimate, and the board approved it. It would have to be approved by the board, whoever does it, but we want to make sure they have, you know, insurance, because if they do anything that liner,
Right.
so.
Plus there's a, through the chair, there's a little extra scope on this one as well, as far as, you know,
You're right.
Yeah.
so, I still I would anticipate it being under the threshold.
Yeah.
But, you know, in all fairness to the town and everybody else, I mean, 3 bids seems, you know, seems the way to go, 3 or 4 bids. We have a list of interested landscapers that were interested at it.
Yes.
I still know who they are. We could reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to throw a bid on the mowing this year? Certainly that BCB. There was a guy that did it 2 seasons before
Yep.
that, Steve's lawn. He was good. I know CCL's doing the municipal work now, so it'd be fair to him to give him a quote and.
And then we can let the board decide at a meeting, and as long as they have the right insurance and stuff, and then we can at least, and maybe if they wanna do a walkthrough, we can do a walkthrough with them and show them what, they really need to look at it before they bid.
Yeah.
Because we get crazy bids, but they have to realize that, I think the last guy used like a brush hog or something, or a special design, because like Gary said, it's pretty steep.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want anyone getting hurt either.
The 2 companies that have done a good job. They haven't done any damage to the landfill, done a nice job. I think it's important that when you have the walkthrough, maybe I'll come or whatever, things that are starting to become a little bit of a concern on the edges of the landfill, we gotta make sure they're going off the cap all the way out, because we monitor wells that are out far. We gotta make sure they're taken care of all around those detention basins. I did talk to DEP about the trees, some of the vegetation that's coming up, and so what approach they'd like to see. They said just take a change by cut off,
We gotta get those caps out too.
let them go.
Yeah, put caps on them, right? It was not locked, the cap wasn't down.
They're done.
Oh, you already did?
All
Okay.
set.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So you guys just bought 25 key-to-like locks. So all the landfills are all key, all the wells are now key-to-like. And I don't know who to go to, but the gate at 54 has one of these on it. One of the gates, I can't fit one of these on it at 54. And then the gate at 90, somebody needs to go in there with a welder needs to go in there and weld a chain on for that. I don't know if DPW would do that or what, or we could just put a chain on it. But the way that gate worked, it came out, it had a latch and it's been hit and damaged, so it's,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think if we would allow, we would purchase an ES box, so the fire department, and we would have it installed on the gate. So if the fire department had to get in for any reason,
They don't have to come find it.
they would have to come find the
Right,
key.
yeah.
That's what we do in most buildings in the middle of the night, and that the only one that have keys is the fire department key to all of them the same. And now if they had to get into the landfill for some reason, the fire department wouldn't have to call anyone at 2 in the morning. They're able to unlock it. You could have an injury there, the motorcycle, ambulance, or you need to get in. They would have at least a key to get in there.
I like the idea.
There are a couple $100 for the EAS box, and I would, you know, I would have it installed on, the fire department would come and lock the key in there, and it would mark down that this is the master where they are. It's just convenient for any emergency.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
When you start passing out keys, people know where they are, they lose them.
Yeah. Or they're calling you at 2.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. Jim, get up. We need a key, and then you're searching for the key.
So if it's all right, we could purchase out of that, an ES box, go to the fire department, and they would have a key in it.
You good with it?
I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of steered off the path of the mowing
But
discussion.
no, I know, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's all part of it.
Yeah.
But if he just came up with the keys and locked it, it's like,
Yeah, no,
where I'm going with the mowing is we just need to make sure that they get to the perimeter, get way out on the outsides, get those numbers, those slopes done. I think if, you know, they got done one time, they didn't, they're just getting.
so what we'll have to do is whoever mows it this time, put them on notice that, listen, it needs to be inspected. We're gonna come out and check it out because there's been some, we've missed a few spots.
That's fine.
If you wanna say that or whatever.
Generally, they've
but-
done a good job, but yes.
I know they've done a great job.
Yeah.
But if they keep missing the same couple of spots year after year after year, next thing you know, it's woody vegetation, we got a problem.
Exactly.
right?
So, through the chair,
Yes.
do we have something written out that describes the verbiage, the mowing verbiage?
We do.
So I would make a motion
I think it's Jim that.
that we ask
usually-
Jim
As
to
long as we know where
get
it's.
3 bids. and-
Matt, I could speak to Matt. Matt
Yeah.
knows the 3, and we have 3 in there.
There was more than 3, but yeah.
Yeah, there was like 5 or 6, but
Mhm.
we would entertain, make calls, that would you like to come in, and we would put together the specifications that we had before, what they required that the board set before, and have them put a bid, and the bids would be open here at one of the meetings, and the board would vote on what they decided.
And that would be including
Yeah, we
sod,
would add-
to repair the,
Incorporate the report that I gave you guys.
And that would require a walkthrough prior to the bid, I would believe. You can't have someone bidding on something blind.
Right.
I think that if they want to, they would call and maybe get one of the board members and Gary and myself if they wanted that. I know everyone's busy, but at least walk them through and show them what they need to do. They get a legitimate bid. And then they, when you get the bids, they already know what they were supposed to do. And they have the right proper insurance and that they actually know what the job consists of. So you get a proper bid.
this would occur in September? I don't remember when we did it last year.
October, I think.
Is it October?
Fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty tall right now.
There's a lot of ticks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too long of a wait time.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So if it falls over, it's even harder. You know?
So most of the landfills I get, the ones that I've been involved with that are done annually, are done for September, October, November, September, October before, kind of as it's ready to stop growing. You mow it now, it's in 2 months, it's going to be the same.
Okay, after mowing.
Yeah.
It costs $5,000-6,000, you know, needless to save us all some money. And that's what the board decided before. They thought 2 was, you know,
Yeah.
1 too many.
So on that note, I do have one other question.
Yes.
So the old landfill at 54, I think we had that mowed or something the first time we went into the sampling in 2016. That should get done again. That hasn't been touched in almost 3 years now, so you're starting to get woody vegetation back in there. You know, it was a lot of work when it was done the first time.
Through the chair?
Yes.
I'm not sure, did we mow it or did we just mow access paths to the
Access
wells?
paths.
Access paths. And was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for, just the
That
access
should
paths?
get redone.
Because the other stuff's gotta be trees.
Oh, there's trees.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't even know if it's, I mean, if we're gonna be doing significant work out there, well, you're gonna be doing survey work, you're gonna be doing stuff, you need to keep that landfill accessible. And it's approaching not accessible now.